Hello there, welcome again to the Quality Mentor. Today, on the topic Quality Assurance and Quality Control, Chapter 2, we'll be looking at quality management principles and fundamentals. So, this has to do with fundamentals that underpin every quality system before the tools, standards, and operations. So, what are our learning objectives for today? So by the end of this chapter, learners should be able to, number one, explain the concepts of quality management, describe the principles of quality management, differentiate quality planning, assurance, control, and improvement, understand the role of leadership and employee involvement, recognize the importance of customer focus and continuous improvement. Now, what is quality management system or what is quality management? Quality management is the coordinated set of activities used to direct and control an organization with regards to quality, ensuring products and services consistently meet customer requirements while complying with applicable regulations and standards. So during quality management, you're going to have different forms of regulations and standards, and one of which is the ISO. So by definition, ISO, that's the quality management, includes the process needed to establish quality policies, objectives, and responsibilities, which is going to be achieved through planning, assurance, control, and continual improvement. So, just a side note, everyone's responsibility. Quality management is not the job of the quality department alone, or it's not about senior leadership, production operators, customer service, so, or every function in between. So, what do I mean by all of this? So, everyone's responsibility in quality matters. So whether it is a senior leadership, production operators, customer service, all of the functions that entails production from raw material to finished product, everyone is involved in quality. So let's look at the four pillars of quality management. The first pillar is quality planning, which defines customer requirements, specifications, and inspection methods. For example, selling or setting fill volume and label references before bottling begins. Two, quality assurance. It is preventive, like we saw in chapter one. We saw that quality assurance is a preventive and it is process focused. So it is a preventive design process, so defects are unlikely to occur. So it is there to prevent um, defects from occurring. For example, training operators on standardized labeling procedure. So, for example, if you have a bottle of water and you look on the bottle, you have labeling, and all of this is done by a machine. But then we need um, a procedure, a standard labeling procedure, which the laborer or the machine operator will be taught in order to input the functions into the machines correctly so as to have a good label on the bottle. The next pillar we have quality control. So it is defective focus. So it focuses on defect and it is a reactive process. So quality control is detective. It inspects and tests products against specifications. For example, checking bottles for labeling for centering, and wrinkles. So, with the case of our bottled water, what quality control here does is it wants to make sure that the label on your bottled water is actually centralized. It's actually well fitted without any wrinkles on it. So that's the job of quality control. And lastly, the fourth pillar is quality improvement. It continuously reduces waste, variation, and defects. So when we're talking about waste, we're talking about products, because one of the things that we want to reduce is waste. Waste in terms of labor, finances, raw material, whatever you can name, has to do with reducing waste. So you don't want to start your production and then majority of your work is going to be wasted, and you're going to have low costs, and you might close down just because of that. So you want to reduce that. So in so doing, you have to go through the pillar of quality improvement. And for example, a Six Sigma project cuts label defects from 5% to 1%. Now, this is another topic we're going to delve on. Six Sigma. It's a very, very important form of certification that is very necessary in the domain of quality. So, the seven quality management principles. Number one, customer focused. Understand, meet, and exceed customer expectations. The customer determines quality. You don't want to sell a bad product to your customer. So your customers will not buy that product if it's of low quality, if it doesn't have integrity, it is not safe, it is not consistent, and it's just bad. They're not going to buy it, so you're not going to have any sales. Two, leadership. Leaders set the vision, quality policy, objectives, and the culture of accountability. So when we talk about quality management, people need to be accountable. Accountable for production, whatever it could be in different sense. From the raw materials coming in, from inventory, from every product or every process along the whole production has to be accountable for or accounted for. Number three, engagement of people. So people need to be trained, informed employees who participate in improvement drive better results. So if you want to have better results, we need people who have to be trained. That is why, like I mentioned earlier, we have different levels of certifications, which allows people get trained and get certified in certain domains that requires quality assurance or quality control. And as such, people who work on production floors, they need to be trained on what they are doing. People cannot just do things in disorder or in a disoriented form. It's going to cause chaos, and a lot is going to happen. It's going to even increase waste and downtime. So every worker or employee needs to be trained, and those that participate in improvement will always produce better results. Four, process approach. Managing connected processes, that is not isolated task, improves the whole system. So every process that is interconnected from stage one to stage two needs to be managed properly. That is why we have team leads, we have supervisors, we have managers, we have senior managers that are there to make sure that things are not isolated, things are not in disorder, but they are all organized. They are all in synergy so as to have better results. Five, improvement. No process is perfect. Continuously reduce waste and defects, and increase efficiency and satisfaction. Of course, nothing is always 100% perfect, but we can be able, through improvement, reduce waste. We should be able to detect where we have errors so as to have reduced waste. That is going to save cost of production, is going to save brand reputation, is going to, you know, cause a lot of things that is going to be of positive review to the company. Number six, evidence-based decision making. So good decision rests on data, SPC, Pareto charts, control chart, histograms, and root cause analysis. And here is the area, remember in chapter 1, if you haven't heard, listened to that, go back to a previous video on chapter 1. You're going to see how we mention some of these skills that a quality control or quality assurance personnel must have. And some of those skills we spoke about, uh, data analysis, risk management. So this is where all of this comes from. To be a data analyst, you you have to be trained on how to manage data. Decisions are not just made from nowhere. They are made based on collected data. Data needs to be collected. Maybe number of bottled water that has been produced per day, uh, uh, number of batches or pallets that have been destroyed, that have all of that data needs to be collected. How many people are working on a specific production line is going to help us be able to manage decision making if a problem arises. Number seven, relationship management. Strong supplier and stakeholder relationship directly affects the quality of the final product. So what does this mean? We have raw materials that are coming into our facility. So there needs to be this relationship between um, a company and their supplier or wherever they're getting materials from. So materials, first of all, needs to be supplied in good quality before any other company that needs to process it for a finished product can actually use it. If the supplier gives raw materials in bad quality, it's equally going to affect the output of a product. And the relationship between various this has to do with supply chain. So all of that process needs to be controlled in order to have a successful quality management team. Now, why quality management matters? Number one, improve customer satisfaction, lower production costs, better regulatory compliance, reduce operational risks, reduce defects and rework, increase productivity, stronger brand reputation, greater employee engagement. So when you look at huge companies that have made a name for themselves, you will notice that the principle of quality management, it matters. Yes, matters. All of this is well accounted for, that causes that company to have uh, a huge production or whatever I could say increase. For example, let's take Samsung. When we have a Samsung product, you will see that we have a lot of customer satisfaction. So the production cost of any Samsung device is actually low. You will see better regulatory compliance. You will see that the Samsung company doesn't get into serious issues with the government in terms of whatever, but because they actually produce products that is in conformity with government regulations. So operational risks, reduce defects and rework, and so on. the price of making or the cost of working or of reworking on a product is twice the production of that product. It's more. So this is very, very much important. Okay, I give you a summary. What you have learned so far: quality management integrates planning, assurance, control, and continual improvement into a unified system. You explored the seven quality management principles that guide successful organizations and saw how data, leadership, and employee improvement or involvement combine to deliver products and services that consistently meet customer expectations. On our next chapter, we'll be talking about quality management systems or QMS, which has to do with structure, documentation, and standards. Learn how organizations interpret quality systems using standards such as ISO 9001, FDA regulations, GMP, GLP, and other industry specific requirements. So, I will see you on our next video. So stay tuned, follow, subscribe, like, and I will see you there.